Soul Moments. As we move our attentions and energies out of October and into November, we find ourselves stopping at a place of tricks and sugar-filled treats, as the veils and doorways of old open to show their underbellies and intentions in the next 3 months of fallback. The very vibration of the moon itself is ringing like an interplanetary crystal bowl due to the presence of the mini-moon, which is creating a strong cadence in the inner ear. Like placing your ear too close to a big speaker, the ringing will continue dissolving auditory blocks that have been artificially created to distort words, echoing through the inner ear, like a pinball wizard. As the cellular structures within begin to show transparency, new understandings are birthed out of chaos and confusion. The overflowing of the heart allows you to rise above previous emotional tidelines and the sharp finger-pointing barnacles of the past. Set sail into a future heart that is free of wreckage, free of the past. What is good within you has survived the storms and emotional floods. You are being reformatted in thought and deed into a place where you can consciously conceive a world that is better than what you prayed for. All of your actions of Earth act as a centerpiece. You are an intersection of dimensional fluxes. Your choice here on Earth influence the outcomes of other dimensions and galactic zones. All avenues of time and space deliver your vibrational message. The next level of attunement that you seek lives within the solar crossings of your light and thoughts. Your spirit stands ready to take you to unmapped territory. Everything stretches itself looking for more of its true identity, as do you. All that you do in upcoming time sequences influences the outcomes of predestined events. Every negative thought that you have shifts the scales of polarity into a place of shadow. All of life and lights and awaits your intentions, your actions, and your love. No longer are you at the mercy of others. Soul moments come when you are least expecting them. They come to the surface like the sweet scent of an orange blossoms on a sunny day. Soul moments reveal the places in time where the real you escaped the new you. In the soul moments, a great cellular healing happens for each and every person that you connect your heart with in a place of purity, purpose, and intent. Replaying and remembering the times of great laughter, sharing with those we love and what we love. Remembering times when we felt free in our own home and thoughts and actions. A soul moment is like cosmic parentheses in time, it enhances what lies within. As time begins to slowly erase herself to a place of non-existence, we come to a precipice within our heart and soul that says we need to share what is good within and spread it over the sticky crunchiness of life, letting it adhere to the roof of our soul. We need to remember the goodness that is Earth. Even though some days it does not look like it, we are wholly and wholly protected throughout time as a living light and representative of the universe. The scumming energy between now and New Year's will bring us all to a sharp point of awareness as we enter a place of interdimensional accumulation of recollection. Share your inner light with everyone and anyone, giving them a much-needed infusion of kindness, hope, and a much-needed smile, showing them kindness is alive and well and living on planet Earth. Conversations with Pleiadians. Hello. This is the channeler speaking, who has the initials AS. I haven't physically interacted with Pleiadians in this life, but I have telepathically talked to them a lot. I have mostly talked to medium to relatively high consciousness Pleiadians, and not so much to very high consciousness, non-physical Pleiadians. Here are some conversations and interactions I've had with Pleiadians. I hope you will find this amusing or interesting. 1. It's really nourishing and healing to interact with someone who reads all the thoughts that pop into your mind if you give them permission, otherwise they won't, and who never reacts with judgment or hostility towards any of your thoughts. 2. Why they're not going to judge you. It does help if you're not ashamed or embarrassed about your own thoughts and feelings. What might very well happen one day is that you'll stand in front of some galactic, and you'll feel lust for them, or initially you'll feel a bit scared or weirded out by their appearance, and most likely the galactic will just read your body language and understand what you're feeling. They won't judge you, but it does help to have a certain shamelessness with regards to your own thoughts and feelings. You can choose and control your actions, after all. but you can't really choose what arises in you, other than through long-term spiritual work. 3. If you have reliable telepathic contact with a Pleiadian, you can ask for an energetic hug, where they bring their energy body over to Earth and give you a hug with their energy body. Most people won't be able to feel that, but very energy-sensitive people might be able to. Obviously, an energetic hug doesn't quite feel the same as a physical hug, but it's still nice, and I find the more I grow spiritually, the more tangible and physical the Pleiadians feel when they move over their energy body and come hug me, although they often point out that they didn't become more tangible, I just became more sensitive. Sometimes Pleiadians insist that I give myself credit for my progress. 4. Energy bodies can be stretched or molded at will, and Pleiadians are great at working with energy. I've had a smaller than myself Pleiadian stretch her energy body so that she could be the big spoon. I've had a Pleiadian grow another set of arms in her energy body so that she could put 2 sets of arms around me, and I've also had a Pleiadian literally reach into my chest and touch my heart with her energy body, which initially triggered a fear response in me, but then felt nice. 5. It may be different for the very high consciousness Pleiadians, but the medium consciousness Pleiadians experience emotions just as we do. I've seen them be sad, cry, feel righteous anger when seeing injustice, etc. They just don't resist it, and so the emotions pass through them very quickly, and they suffer no long-term ill effects. One time, a Pleiadian said she was actually going to sleep to process some emotions, which was pretty abnormal for her. Normally she just meditates or trances, or astral travels for a few hours without actually sleeping, and that's all the rest she needs. 6. A day is the time it takes for Earth to rotate on its axis. That specific amount of time, 24 hours, is obviously very significant on Earth, but 24 hours is a pretty arbitrary amount of time for beings who aren't native to Earth. Still, it's easy enough for them to convert their time units to our time. 7. Pleiadian days last what we would think of as a bit over 26 hours, so yes, our days in fact are too short. However, there are different Pleiadian planets with different day-night cycles, so a Pleiadian day 26 hours may not actually correspond to a light and a dark period on a given Pleiadian world. Often Pleiadians will rest whenever it's dark outside, but that means they don't necessarily rest exactly once per day, depending on the planet. Pleiadians instead talk about a cycle, which is 1 active plus 1 rest period for the individual Pleiadian. Families and colleagues often intentionally adopt the same cycle, and then they might say next cycle let's do that together, which means after our next rest period, let's do that together. 8. Pleiadians have hologram artists, light sculptures, and what we would think of as holodeck games. 9. One time I was able to get an exceptionally clear vision of what a certain Pleiadian woman looked like, one whom I haven't channeled. She looked like a blonde, blue-eyed, pretty Scandinavian woman. What particularly struck me though was that she had an innocent look on her face, the kind that I'm only used to seeing on the faces of children here on Earth. Now to be clear, this woman was older, wiser, smarter, more powerful, more sexually experienced, and more well-traveled than I was. She also had gently called out some of my nonsense in past interactions, so she wasn't naive or a pushover. And yet, she had an innocent look on her face. I found that striking. 10. Often when I ask Pleiadians how they're able to be a certain way, they simply reply that they haven't been hurt or damaged by Earth life, and the way they are is just the natural way that some humans are when they're undamaged and relatively unencumbered. 11. Pleiadians, being mind readers and mind sharers, are very good at synchronizing movements with each other. 10 random Pleiadians can start dancing in perfect or near perfect unison almost immediately if they wish. This also has obvious military benefits. 12. A Pleiadian remarked that on Earth, it seems more standard to first decide that you like someone, and then kiss them. Whereas in her culture, kissing was often used as a way to evaluate if you want to have a romantic or sexual relationship with someone. So in her culture you kiss someone to decide if you like them, rather than kissing them after you decide you like them. I know that kissing to decide if you like someone sometimes happens on Earth, as well, but it's more common with Pleiadians apparently. Of course, it helps that Pleiadian women feel safe to kiss someone, and then to still decide, and gently communicate not interested. Also, a person's energy plays a larger part in attraction for Pleiadians than for average Earth humans. 13. Pleiadians think that an umbrella term like intelligence or level of consciousness is pretty meaningless, because there are many kinds of intelligences, and people can have greater or lesser development in certain aspects of their consciousness. Some people can achieve deep states of meditation, some people are really good at self-reflection, etc. 14. That said, one Pleiadian estimated that average Pleiadian IQ is somewhere around 135 in Earth terms. That means that an average Pleiadian is about as intelligent as a top 1% Earth human. So average Pleiadians are about as smart as really smart Earth humans. 15. From their perspective, that means that when they talk to Earth humans, on average they're talking to someone with 35 IQ less than themselves. If you'd try talking to someone with 35 less IQ than yourself, you'll see how that experience is. And of course someone like Ashtar has far higher than average Pleiadian IQ, which means that from his perspective he's talking to someone with, I don't know, maybe 80 IQ less than himself. Which is a challenge. Now Pleiadians don't think in terms of IQ, or primarily care about raw intelligence, but still. 16. From the Pleiadian perspective, average Earth humans are low consciousness, violent, dumb, primitive, non-introspective, actively miseducated, smelly, unpredictable, emotionally and psychically blocked, traumatized, capable of appalling cruelty and callousness, and generally Earth humans believe what they want to believe rather than what is true. Now, Pleiadians understand this isn't inherent to us and that we won't always be like this. Pleiadians also understand that some Earth humans are much better people than average. And Pleiadians thoroughly admire that some of us have found the light, and are standing up for truth even after being born in such a dark world. This is a quality we have that they don't, because being loving after growing up in Pleiadian culture is pretty much automatic, and isn't any kind of special attainment on their part. 17. Still, if you were Pleiadian communicating with such a group of people, wouldn't you start out by being truthful, but also diplomatic, and a little bit careful? And then if you found an Earth human who you could trust, you might ease up and start acting towards them in a way that's more normal from your point of view, even if it's less normal from their point of view. Personally, I believe that some people who are genuinely talking to galactics are still being treated diplomatically and carefully, and the galactics are, for example, lonely, or primarily giving them love and light and draw intel type of messages, because those are hard to distort. 18. If you're wondering what I mean by Pleiadians easing up and treating us in a way that's normal for them, but less normal for us, well, I've had a Pleiadian start a conversation with me while I was peeing, and she knew that. I've had a Pleiadian start a conversation with me while she was peeing. I've had sex with a Pleiadian's energy body, and not just she, but also her vagina separately expressed affection towards me afterwards. Body parts have consciousnesses of their own, and can telepathically communicate on their own. And I've repeatedly had a Pleiadian look through my eyes and say that she was happy that the way my poop looked indicated that I was healthy. It is weird to interact with people who aren't weird about bodily functions. Still, why be ashamed of bodily functions? There's no reason to. 19. A Pleiadian thought it was interesting that many Earth women on beaches are apparently unconcerned with revealing a large part of their buttocks through wearing a small bikini bottom, but they typically don't want to reveal their breasts. From the Pleiadian perspective, it's considered more revealing to show your buttocks, or even a large part of them, than to show your breasts. After all, as she put it, you have to reveal your breasts during breastfeeding. But there's no necessity to ever reveal your buttocks. That said, while it's not a problem to reveal any part of your body, usually Pleiadians cover about as much of their body with clothing as we typically do. It's not typical for a Pleiadian to go topless. 20. To those people who think Pleiadians are excessively focused on sex, keep in mind that they're using sex not just for fun and connection, but also for the purposes of spiritual growth, light work, healing, and magic. So it's not all just hedonism. I've had sexual experiences with the energy bodies of Pleiadians that gave me an amount of spiritual growth that otherwise would have taken me months or years to obtain by myself. Simply put, if her energy body touches me, I feel that, and if I touch her energy body, she feels that, even though she's not physically here. If you're curious, we did the infinity practice described in Hakon, gaining and losing energy. 21. Pleiadians are conscious about possible power imbalances in their interactions with us. They don't want us to worship them. If they make an offhand remark that they personally do something in a certain way, they don't want us to see that as the only proper way to do things. They don't want us to copy them in all respects. They want us to remain our own people. Fortunately, from their point of view, us Earth humans have largely or fully grown past the phase where we're likely to worship or blindly copy them. 22. The minority of Pleiadians who are open to dating Earth humans are sometimes also worried about power imbalances in romantic relationships with us. It's not necessarily great for a romantic relationship if one partner perceives the other as being superior to themselves or as being irreplaceably amazing. So let's say you want to date a Pleiadian, and you're lucky or developed enough that there's a Pleiadian interested in you too. Then first, there may be a period of spiritual growth and healing necessary to get on their level so that you can be together as equals. You can grow really quickly with some galactic healing and spiritual mentoring. Second, it helps to genuinely see Pleiadians as not superior to yourself. They're better at certain things, yes, but we're better at other things. 23. Most Pleiadians see themselves as being more developed than average Earth humans, but not as more developed than awake and somewhat spiritually advanced Earth humans. I've heard them describe it as we're Jane, you're Tarzan, we both have things we can't teach the other, neither is overall superior. From their perspective, we've cultivated love and light in the darkness, which is a great achievement, whereas everyone becomes a loving person after growing up among Pleiadians, so Pleiadians being loving is no accomplishment at all. 24. I've heard Pleiadians describe it as us light workers having mastered and integrated the dark in a productive way without becoming evil. So Pleiadians dating us would be like the light and the integrated dark coming together in a beautiful way. After all, we haven't experienced enough light in our lives, while Pleiadians often haven't experienced enough darkness. 25. I've also heard them mention that we're actually the species with more psychic potential than they have, which is another reason for some of them to want to have children with us. 26. One of the Pleiadians I interact with is a teacher, and one of her pupils decided to look me up and contact me, so I had a 7-year Pleiadian old boy connect to me. He saw that I was carrying around old emotional pain, and after greeting me, he asked me why I didn't just visit a healer. I explained to him that I just didn't have access to the quality of healers that he's used to. Then the next day, he contacted me again and asked if he could help me in any way. That melted my heart a little bit. I thanked him, said I was mostly okay, and that I was more concerned with helping the people of Earth in general, and suggested he talk to his teacher. So, a small group of 7- and 8-year-old Pleiadian children are now occasionally doing loving kindness meditations and sending love and compassion to Earth. I hope you'll find that as touching as I do. 27. I saw the famous video clip from Pirates of the Caribbean, where some British officer says, "You are without a doubt the worst pirate I have ever heard of." And then fictional pirate Jack Sparrow replies, "But you have heard of me." I thought that was a cool line. A Pleiadian asked me, out of curiosity, "Why do you think that's cool?" The answer I came to after some reflection is that Jack Sparrow effectively said, "I am memorable, I am special, I am noteworthy, I am not just another person, I will not be forgotten." Then, still out of a genuine desire to understand me better, she asked, "Why is being memorable such a desirable thing, that this evokes a positive emotion in you?" Personally, I don't feel a desire to be considered memorable or special. And I guess perhaps here on Earth we feel unseen and unloved, and perhaps she has felt so seen, and so connected, and so loved all her life, that she genuinely feels no desire to be special or famous, except if that comes about naturally as a result of her just following her own heart. What would our life be like if we had been loved like that for all our lives? Can we, ourselves, love others like that? With that, I wish you a very good week. Your Earth Brother, AS. Source: ARrayOfLight.com. The other videos are in the English video playlist. Help me spread the light, click like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.